Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Master Coliseum number 8. Welcome back to the group stage here. We're still in Group A. We're here at the final match, the final hurdle of Group A. It's been an intense weekend already with these 4 amazing players, and as is being stated in the chat, I believe the top 2 players are confirmed. Cyril and Astray will be making it out of the group, but there is still some money on the line here for our 2 remaining players, for SHIN and Kira. Unfortunately, they won't be able to make it out of the group. Unfortunately, the math won't quite work out in their favor, but regardless, we have a banger of a ZVT ahead of us. Let's go, Pappy, let's go. We have our ZVT vetoes are done, and we have a map order as well. Game 1 is going to be on Ley Lines, Game 2, Ultra Love, Game 3 on Frostline. Once again, some of the more larger maps have been vetoed. In general, the vetoes have been quite similar amongst all these matchups. Just getting rid of Neo Violet Square, getting rid of King's Cove, El Dorado, Whispers of Gold as well. Having getting rid of them, and now we're getting into the final series. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the bottom right corner, we have SHIN for Gaming Gladiators. And in the top right, we have Cure for Team Liquid. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat as we're settling in. Here we go. So again, unfortunately in this group, this series holds less weight, but a banger of a series nonetheless. We're still here for it. We're ready for it. Let's go. I see Chase in the chat. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Chase. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing good in the hood. As she is going hatch gas pool, I would imagine standard opener out of both of our players. Likewise, Kira back at home as well. No crazy early Raxes or anything like that. No crazy kind of proxy play either. We're calming things down. I'm going to be calming things down here. As we settle in. We also saw the match history between these 2 players in the lead up to this series, and it has been going in favor of SHIN. Historically, SHIN has taken down Kira, but it isn't a one-sided kind of affair between the 2 of them. We do see Kira often taking maps and has taken series as well. When I say in favor of SHIN, I'm saying more like 60-40 sort of thing, in slight favor of the Zerg player. But we'll see. We'll see how our 2 players do approach this. So now we do have that Rax expand out of Cure, going for the initial Reaper. Likewise, back at home, hatch gas pool out of SHIN. We're settling in. Now, when it comes to this matchup, SHIN, he does often play with Roaches. True, he does often play Roach, does often play more aggressive as well. We'll keep an eye on the tech of choice for SHIN as the game progresses to see if he does end up embracing Roach play or Ling Bane. Keep an eye on SHIN. See Axo Gaming in the chat. Whoa, Australia? Yeah. If you missed out on Australia's matches, I do recommend watching the VODs of yesterday's matches and today's as well. Australia was playing very well today, or this weekend in general. Playing very well. As the Reaper does dip in. We'll threaten the Lings. But so far so good. SHIN does maintain himself. He does maintain, does hold on, does preserve his workers. Here he does calm things down. His 3rd base was delayed. There's at least that going Kira's way. Did delay the 3rd. And behind this is going for his 3rd TC into Starport. So economic build here by Kira. I mean, we saw a lot of this against this series, or in this series against several. Often 3cc Banshee or 3cc Liberator, one or the other, typically from the side of Kira. And does often embrace aggression in the mid game. That's usually what Kira plays for. The mid game, if not the mid to late game. Not really want to go for 8 Raxes, or 2 base all-ins, or 3 base all-ins. Not really Kira's MO. But now just embracing Hellion production. We'll soon move out to gain map control. Soon move out. Likewise, as the add-on assault, Banshee production has begun. So Hellion Banshee here from Cure, designed to chip away at the economy, designed to chip away at the creep, more importantly as well. Maintain control of ley lines. And follow that up with the eventual buy move out. With Marines, with Stim, with tanks. So we are just building up. Likewise, Cure is being active. Does rotate between the bases. So far, SHIN is maintaining himself. Cure will soon be active. Still just, again, vying for map control. Nothing too crazy. SHIN has been running this entire time, just saturating his bases. It's going to be a bit of a later layer timing from SHIN at around 5 minutes. Heading into that Bane nest as well. Just settling into his Ling Bane. I mean, now we have our tech of choice. If you remember earlier, I was saying that we were going to be keeping our eye out for any kind of Roach play, but there is no Roach one. Going to be the Bane nest instead. So Ling Bane here at a SHIN. Let's go. Is going to be embracing Ling Bane. Likewise, Cure building up towards his additional Raxes. Stim is on the way. Double E-Bays, 1-1. As I mentioned before, again, again, Cure, he's a lot more like mid-game oriented. Isn't often too aggressive early on. He does move out with his Banshees. 2 Banshees, they can one-shot drones. They're making their way towards the 3rd, but SHIN is in position. He's got 5 Queens. The Queens are ready. They zone away the Banshees. So far, so good. They rotate in towards the main. SHIN also ready for them. Banshees, they get 3 drone kills. Nice pickoffs. 3 workers go down. Banshees, they back off. Likewise, SHIN securing his 4th. And we had no major Hellion dive out of Cure. Just keeping them back at home instead. Does keep them back home. Meanwhile, SHIN taking up even further, going Ling Bane into Hydra. Kind of your stock standard composition nowadays. Ling Bane, Hydra into Lurker tech eventually from the side of SHIN. Just taking up, spreading his creep. Again, one of the big features of ley lines is how defendable your corner of the map is. I was going to say like your 3, 4, 5 base setup, but really it's just your entire corner of the map is just very defendable. We'll see if Cure can break through. We've hit that timing. 7 minutes. We have that 7-minute move out. We have Marines. We have a Hellion, soon to be Hellbats. The tank has arrived. SHIN trying to catch his army on siege. Ooh, isn't quite able to. Tank does siege up in time. Reinforcing tank has arrived. And Cure is pushing it. He is pushing forward. The armory is about to finish as well, so the Hellion's about to morph into Hellbats. Ling Bane does threaten a dive, but nice tank shot. Tank shot goes off. SHIN has to respect it. He has to back off. Does have to back off. Cure moving in. Once again, threatening a stim. SHIN can't quite commit. I mean, Cure, he isn't really threatening too much, but he's slowly gaining ground, denying creep. At the same time, SHIN goes for a link counterattack, but last Cure is ready back at home. Banshees, they hit the southern expansion. The Queens are ready for this, though. A good response here by SHIN. He's ready with the Queens. Does run away. And SHIN is holding. SHIN is holding. Over time, is building up a greater Ling Bane Hydra army. And it's just all about being as patient as possible, waiting for Cure to expose himself, to move a little bit too far forward, and then SHIN can collapse in. Speaking of, SHIN instead getting ready for another run by. Cure going for a split push. Bailey's a crash in, big connections. Likewise, SHIN, he attempts to catch reinforcements, but SHIN gets caught out instead. And Cure is going for that southern expansion, does get a queen. Queen goes down, SHIN trying to respond. Not quite ready for this. He's trying to split up his army. And what does he go for? Attempting to set up a surround. I mean, this northern force for Cure is looking a little bit lackluster. And there we go. SHIN, he breaks out. Collapses on the tanks. He will clean this up. Shuts down all the tanks and the Hellbats. And now SHIN can focus on that southern defense instead. Marines moving in. Nice target firing on the main as well. Oh my god, two of them do connect. And SHIN, instead of coming back home to defend, he's going for his own counterattack. He's going for the mineral line. And diving into the third. SCVs do go down. No reaction there out of Cure. Delayed reaction. Ooh, Bailey's a crash into the reinforcements as well. Back across the map, trading a base for a base. Yeah, hatchery does go down. And the Marines, they can break through this. But SHIN isn't done. He's going to keep pushing. And he will preserve his army back at home. Busts into the mineral line as well. Getting into the natural, pushing in towards the main. And shit, yeah, Curie has nothing at home. GG gets called. He has nothing back at home. And SHIN will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. SHIN just, again, really patient play. More than anything, just really patient play out of SHIN. Despite the fact that Cure was knocking down that front door, SHIN, he was more than happy to just calm things down, you know, go for some Ling run-bys here and there, just play it safe, wait to build up an army, and Cure made a choice. What did Cure do? Instead of reinforcing that first push, he went for a split push. Remember, he sent that second army down towards the south instead to go for a split push instead of reinforcing towards the north. Once SHIN realized what was going on, he collapsed on it. He collapsed on that northern army, cleaned it up, and then just committed to a massive counterattack instead. And last Cure, he had nothing at home. He had nothing at home to defend, or bare minimum at home to defend. And with that, he was overwhelmed. GG, well played. SHIN takes a lead, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. Yeah, getting ready for that second game. And we'll see if Cure can recover as we're going to be loading into Ultra Love. Oh. Speaking of, here we go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have SHIN for Gaming Gladiators. And in the top right, we have Cure for Team Liquid. God, their intros are so fast. Like I wanna embrace it, you know. I wanna indulge in it. It's just not happening. Aye. With that though, we are going to be settling in. And we'll see how Cure will adjust. I mean, in general, what we saw out of game 1... Oh my god, pull first. Let's go. Pull first opener here out of SHIN. With this, he can move out across the map with his Lings and try and delay the expansion of Cure. And we'll see if he can pull this off, as SHIN is going to be initially the aggressor. Now, what I was about to say is that Cure, what we just saw in game 1 is usually what we see out of Cure is standard opener, like 3cc Banshee into a 7-minute push, into a 7-minute move outs, in towards that mid-game kind of scenario. That is kind of what we expect out of Cure. I'm hoping he can kind of break that mold and show us something different, but the pressure is on Cure. Again, SHIN, he's a much more diverse player. He's a much more versatile player, I should say. Willing to be aggressive, willing to play a little bit more standard at times, as we can see here, going for the pull first. Lings are on the way. Only going to be 2 Lings. Interesting. So only 2 Lings out of SHIN. What does this tell us? This tells us safe opener more so than an aggressive one. Just going to be a safe opener out of SHIN. This means that if Cure had gone for an all-in, then SHIN would have access to earlier queens and earlier Lings if need be. Instead, he's only going to be harassing with 2 Lings. So the chances of SHIN actually delaying the CC are now suddenly far lower. The intros are so fast we can immediately get into the action of drones being made. True, the intense droning, papi. Let's go. This is why sometimes Yaku struggles casting WTL at Massive Coliseum, because like this is like the anti-Yaku opener, or the anti-Yaku like intro, I should say, where Yaku, he spends like a good 2-3 minutes like per player like introducing them into the game, and here we've got like 10 seconds, and even then like Yaku, if you watch him, he's like like he very quickly tries to just squeeze his intro in as quickly as possible. They don't give him time. Oh no, they're animals, papi. They're animals. How will people know which corner of the map they're spawning into? How will they know? How will they know who they are? Crazy. Oh no. For now, though, we are going to be settling into our second game. So far, our standard openers here are once again third TC into Starport by Cure, so the same opener he went for in the previous game. Likewise, when it came to the other game, even though SHIN did go for a pool first build, he did not get across the map. Because Cure SCV scouted, he was able to recognize what was going on, and he did keep his Reaper back at home just in case. So in the end, nothing really amounted from the initial earlier spawning pool. And really it just means that SHIN will have much later link speed, as link speed is halfway done. From here, we can calm things down, embrace the longer game state. Welcome one and all to Ultra Love. Ultra Love is similar to Ley Lines in the sense that the bases are quite secure. I would say that the bases are a little bit more defendable on Ley Lines. Here on Ultra Love, they're a little bit more spread out instead. I'm referring to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th base. They're secure in their own way, but they are further apart here than the bases on Ley Lines. So we'll see if SHIN can maintain himself. We'll see if he can defend. We'll see if he can keep up with Cure. As now SHIN is being active, he gets a surround. Oh, it does get a surround, shuts down one of the Hellions. Very nice pickup. That should not have happened. One Hellion goes down. That will slow down or even kind of deter the main harassing force of Cure. We'll slow him down. Behind this, throwing down extra Raxes. Getting into his soon-to-be 5-rack setup on 3 bases. He's getting there. Getting up to 3 for the time being. Stim is on the way. Banshees are being active. And again, Cure is looking for a way in. Poking, prodding whenever he can. So far, unable to completely find a way in. SHIN, he's holding his own, taking more bases, getting into 1-1 upgrades, and once again embracing Ling Bane. I say that, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we've seen a Baneling Nest out of SHIN yet, so my apologies. SHIN is going for a different build, so my apologies. SHIN, he actually went double Evo Chamber before Lair, so the Lair is heavily delayed, so is the Baneling Nest. This is very greedy play here by SHIN. Basically what's happening here is that he is prioritizing upgrades more so than the safetiness that you get from Overseer Scouts and from Banelings and Baneling Speed. So delayed Banelings, delayed Baneling Speed, delayed Overseer Scouts in favor of 1-1 upgrades. It is a risky maneuver, but I feel like against Cure specifically, this is a little bit more viable, just because Cure is not really aggressive early on. Oh, the Hellions, though! The Hellions almost get surrounded. One Hellion does fall. Once again, nice catch by SHIN. Whew, that could have been so much worse, though. SHIN could have caught every single Hellion. Alas, only gets 1, 2 in total now. Behind this, SHIN massing up more Lings. Cure getting ready for his own move out. SHIN back at him, getting ready for the push. Spots the main army. SHIN still being active. Turning back around. Now remember, Baneling Speed is delayed this game, so no Baneling Speed yet. Likewise, though, Cure has to respect the creep. Lings, they attempt to run by. Cure is ready back at home this time. Is ready, clearing up a lot of tumors. Most of the tumors go down. Cure, he maintains himself here on top of the ramp. As 1-1 is already done here for the Zerg player, already working towards 2-2. Hellbat's morphing in. I mean, again, there are just so many choke points, so many points of elevation here on Ultra Love. You're making use of them. Does push towards the south. Lings, they keep up. Trading on Marines. That's 8 Marines going down. As SHIN collapses on the Bio Army. This one tank looking very exposed. Sure, there's a couple of Hellbats, but SHIN can break that. As Kira is reinforcing. Unlike the previous game, he's not going for a split push. He's going to be reinforcing the main push, the main army, I should say. And he's committing that much harder. Axidon Rocks get knocked down. And this time it's going to be a much tougher defense here for SHIN. And much more difficult defense. Has to pull back. SHIN once again setting up a counterattack. Kira just cutting SHIN off from that southern expansion. SHIN making his way towards that mineral line. And tank gets around to Banelings, they bust in. Oh, they annihilate the economy. 17 SCBs go down. At the same time, plus two is going to be denied. And massive pickoffs. 2-2 is denied. And with that, Kira, he will take the better upgrade advantage, the upgrade lead. Catches a couple of transferring workers. Another base is going to be going down. And Kira, he's getting a lot of ground here. SHIN falling behind here in the supply. And this may just be too much. This might just be too much at this point. I mean, again, Kira has a massive army. And he's just going in for the kill. Behind this, he was A-Raxing. 2-2 about to finish up. Balin that's under fire. And again, once Kira wedged himself in between the 4th and the 5th, like SHIN just couldn't engage. Just could not engage. Not anymore. And this is going to be the final attempt to break out for SHIN. He does commit, but he has arguably too many Banelings. We'll try to crash in and waste a lot of Banelings on the tanks. Oh, better connections towards the end, but SHIN, he will lose everything. He'll lose all the Ling Bane, most of the Hydras as well. And GG gets called. The GG gets called. Kira he overwhelms, and Kira ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. GG, well played. Again, just really solid play here out of Kira. This time didn't try to be fancy, didn't try to go for these split pushes or anything like that. Just one frontal assault instead. Did wedge himself in between the bases, and again, SHIN just couldn't engage. Like, a lot of it comes down to the map as well. This map is a lot less wide open. As we were pointing out, there are just a lot of choke points, a lot of points of elevation, a lot of ramps as well. I feel like Ultra Love is known for just pure, like, all the defender's advantages, or just all the ramps, all the choke points. Very much so. And with that, Kira takes it. Kira does take game number 2, and now we're getting into the ace match. Let's go. We're getting into Frostline. Now, Frostline is almost like the exact opposite of Ultra Love. Where Ultra Love, there's all these choke points, all these ramps, there are all these just really solid places where a Terran player can take these better engagements. On Frostline, it's very open. It's a lot more open here, a lot more spread out as opposed to Ultra Love. There are certain lanes that you can kind of work with, true. There are certain lanes on Frostline which can make it difficult to surround an army, but not impossible. Not impossible. So we'll see how Kira adjusts. Likewise, we'll see how SHIN adjusts as well. So getting into game number 3 and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Frostline, we have the South Korean Zerg, SHIN, the Gaming Gladiators. In the bottom left, we have, for Team Liquid, Cure. Let's go. We have our ace match here. It all ends here. It all ends on Frostline. Let's go. We go. All ends on Frostline. And if Kira did want to go for the same build and the same style, I don't think it's going to be as effective on Frostline, but we'll keep our eyes on Kira to see what kind of game he does try to embrace. We'll see. But now, this time, Hatch Gas Pool by SHIN. No crazy early pool timing or anything like that this time. Something more standard. Likewise, I should also emphasize one of the big advantages that was meant to come with SHIN's build was faster 2-2. And if you remember, 2-2 was denied last game because of the move out from Cure. So I would imagine this time SHIN is going to go for something more standard, like an earlier lair and earlier Bailey Nest. He attempted to cut some corners last game. He got punished for it. So we'll probably calm down here. We'll see. Do calm things down. Back at home, Cure going for his racks expand into factory. Standard opener so far. Reaper gets across the map. We have the SCB blocking the triangular third of SHIN, and SHIN's third base is going to be delayed. Not bad. Delayed third hatchery. Oh. As SHIN is going to be contained a little bit longer. Is going to be contained. Cure behind this going for a third CC before starports. Economic follow here by Cure, who's done the same opener every single game so far in this series. Is what he does best. That's what he does best. Reaper coming in from behind. SHIN having a harder time keeping up. We'll back off. Does back off behind this. That's an early Roach Warren. Let's go. And this is what we've been waiting for. Okay, so early Roach Warren here by SHIN, which means he's going to be committing to an early Roach move out. Now, on a map like Frostline, because it's so large, the chances of this being scattered is going to be a little bit higher. But what I will say, based on how this series has been playing out, Cure hasn't actually been too aggressive and too assertive with his Hellions. So the chances of this being scattered and being seen is actually going to be a little bit lower here. Just based on the previous scouting patterns of Cure. We'll see. We'll see how active Cure is going to be, because it's been very defensive, very passive in the early game, especially in game 1 and game 2. Now you can see him rotating over towards the right hand side. We'll get eyes on the third base timing. Remember, the third base was delayed because of the initial Reaper harass. Overlord Seattle's coming from the Banshee play. So 3cc Banshee from Cure. SHIN is aware. Roaches are amassing. Now, this is not going to be an all-in. SHIN is going to move out with the Roaches, and he is going to ideally out-trade his opponent, but then should be joining up behind this. I say that, never mind. It looks like he's taking a more defensive route here. Did invest into the Roaches, but he's just trying to be more defensive, trying to keep up with the Hellions and joining. So he's just going to be joining up. He's not going to be moving out. It's more of a defensive opener here by SHIN, not aggressive. Okay. If you recall, this is a build that we assumed was going to be happening in game 1, if you remember. I was talking about how SHIN, he's been known to play with Roaches more defensively than anything, and we were kind of speculating in the first game that could be the case. Didn't happen in game 1, happens here in game 3. So here in game 3 instead. So this can lead into Ling Bane Roach Ravager in the mid game. This can lead in that direction. The other option here for SHIN is gonna be Roaches into Roach Hydra Viper Lurker in a longer game state. We'll see if he gets there. But now SHIN is just trying to maintain himself. He's attempting to. As Banshees, they dip in, they get 2 drones. 2 workers going down. As we can see, Akira just still rotating around, still looking for another way in. Building up his bio. 1-1 is on the way. Stim is on the way. It's still going to take around another 30 seconds before Akira moves out. With that 7-minute push, he's getting there. Building up towards that move out. Meanwhile, SHIN back at home. Looks like it is going to be Ling Bane Roach Ravager. We have Ling Speed on the way. Bailey Ness on the way as well. Ooh, that's gonna be a fast hive. That's a little bit greedy here, but okay. Shin rushing into a faster hive. Bold move, Shin. Bold move. We'll see. We'll see if we can get away with it. We'll see if he can get away. But now still droning up. Kira is not pushing. He's going for a drop instead. So this will give Shin more time to actually get away with this tech. So far, so good. It was risky here by the Zerg player, but so far it's paying off. As Shin is keeping up with the drops. Kira, by moving in, he does get eyes on the hive, on the tech. Kira is going for 4CC, building up and working towards a later game state. And likewise, so is Shin. Shin is run up to 80, solid economy. And yeah, Kira, he doesn't even try to move out, unlike the previous games. And this makes sense. We spoke earlier how Snowpiercer or Frostline is almost like the opposite of Ultra Love, where there's just not as many defensive features in the map and not as many locations that you can abuse. So Kira doesn't even attempt to move out. Not this time. He is respecting the map quite a bit. So that tells us that Kira is going to be more defensive. I mean, 4CC tells that as well. Tell that story. As both players are playing for the late game. Now, I was curious if Shin was going to tech in towards something like Lurker Tech, but he's going for +1 melee. That tells us he's going for something more melee-based. Ultra Cavern gets thrown down, so it's going to be a Lingbane Roach Ravager into Ultras. Both armies are maxing out, and Kira, he pushes for the first time this game at the 9-minute mark. Goes for a move out. He's got 4 tanks, got a couple of Hellbats as well. Spreading out his army. Shin, I believe, has some Vipers, but is he ready? Is he ready with his blinding clouds? Roach Trombite gets intercepted. Shin does attempt to dive. He's going to be forced back. Here come the Vipers. And with all of these Vipers with his blinding clouds, he can break through. Get blinding clouds on the tanks. Does get both of them down. And Bailey's Day roll into the Bio army. We get some decent connections, and it looks like Shin, he should barely have enough. Yeah, with reinforcements, he does. He barely has enough. He cleans up the army, takes out all the tanks, the Hellbats, the Marines, the Bio. Does defend, and thankfully, Shin, he saves the Vipers. Does save both Vipers. He'll be able to retain them and get them ready here for the second wave, for the second attack. Oh, the tanks? No! Tanks able to get caught out. Almost. Shin backs off. Ultra Cavern is done. Ultra upgrades are on the way as well. So Shin just embracing Lingbane Ultra. Roach is really just for Ravagers at this point. As both players are rebuilding. Both players are just building up. God, these Banshees have been alive for the entire game. Finally, we get some power bombs. And finally, one of them is going to go down. Oh, never mind. One of them survives. Just barely. That's a good zone away. Once again, both players have maxed out. Kira pushing towards the north instead. This time Shin has ultras, and do you see any ghosts? The answer is no. There are no ghosts with Kira's army, not yet. So the Ghost Academy just started. Uh-oh. And that rush into Hive, it's going to pay off. Ultras are popping out. Bailing's able to roll into the mineral line. No reaction, no response. Massive connections. 17 SCBs go down. And Shin is just getting ready to collapse on the army. Here come those Vipers, getting ready for the blinding clouds. They cover most of the tanks. And Shin, he will clean this up. Bailey's they chase down the fire. Ultras clean up everything else. I say that, ooh, the Ultras, they take a lot of hits. Ultra's being thinned out. SHIN does not have enough. Yeah, he does not have enough here. Cure can break through. Barely done enough from SHIN. Likewise, drop towards the south as well. Cure, he's popping off. He breaks through. Who needs Ghost, Pappy? Who needs him? Oh my god. I mean, it was only 3 Ultras, but yeah, there just wasn't enough Link support there for the Ultras. Too many Banelings, arguably. With that, another expansion goes down. Curie takes down 2 bases. Wins the main fight. You can see SHIN shaking his head there on cams as well. Yeah, again, that earlier fight just went too poorly for him. And Curie snowballing out of control. He's just rallying across the map at this point. Lings are trickling in, Roaches as well, but Cure, he should have enough. Yeah, he should have enough. One bad fight is sometimes all it takes as he's snowballing out of control. We have some Ultras trickling in, but GG gets called, and Cure, he will take the series 2-1. Will take down SHIN and make it through in, I believe, 3rd place in this group. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Cure will take that final series. Again, things weren't looking too bad for SHIN, especially with the arrival of the Ultras and with the blinding clouds. I thought SHIN could collapse on that army, but as we saw, too many Banelings, not enough Lings, not enough support for those Ultras, and yeah, sometimes one bad fight is all it takes for things to swing heavily in favor of your opponent. It was one and done there. Cure snowball out of control. With that, GG. GG, well played. Cure does take it, and I believe we will soon get eyes on the final standings and on next week's matches. For those that are curious, every single week, both Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be live here with Master Coliseum, and I believe next week should be Group B. Next week should be Group B, so I'm sure we're soon going to be having a gander at those matches, not that group. We'll get there. We'll get there. Whew. But again, GG. GG, well played. Intense matches overall. Again, some of the highlights here of the night, if you missed out on them, I do recommend watching Astrea versus Cyril and Cyril versus SHIN. Some very close matches, very close games were held. Cyril may have won them, but again, almost did lose both of them, actually. Like, it was close games, close games, close games. Likewise, SHIN and Cure was a little bit more straightforward. And there are the final standings. We have Cyril in 1st place and Astrea in 2nd. We had Cure and SHIN in 3rd and 4th, respectively. They are going to be knocked out of the tournament, and Cyril and Astrea, they advance on. They advance on here into the playoffs. Congrats. Well played. Well played, Pappy. Well played. So they will be advancing on. And there it is. There is Group B ahead of us. Next weekend, next Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be featuring Max Pax, Raynor, Rogue, and Skillous. Skillous, of course, he popped off during the qualifiers. If you missed out, I recommend the VODs. We casted every single qualifier. And Skillous, how did he qualify? He knocked Solar out of the tournament. He knocked Solar out of the qualifier. That is how Skillous made it this far. And we have the matches. So it's going to be Max Pax versus Skillous in the PvP, Max Pax versus Raynor in the PvZ, and Skillous versus Rogue in another Protoss versus Zerg matchup. No Terrans. No Terrans in this group. Purely Protoss and Zerg instead. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. So a lot of really fun matches here. Of course, when it comes to Max Pax, when it comes to these online events, this is where he really has the pressure on to really showcase his skill, showcase his prowess. Max Pax does not compete in offline events like EWC or EPT or IEM or DreamHacks or anything like that, or Home Story Cups. It's all about tournaments like this, tournaments like Massive Coliseum, the Wardy TV tournaments, these online events. This is where Max Pax is ideally meant to shine and really show himself off to the rest of the world, to see how he compares to the other best players in the world. So we'll see. We'll see how he can perform. We'll see if he can make it out of the groups. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. It was a bit of a faster day. Again, it's only 3 best of 3s. Only 3 best of 3. So a bit of a shorter broadcast here. Bit of a shorter broadcast. That is not the match that we just had. There we go. But a bit of a shorter broadcast here tonight, and we're going to be back tomorrow with some more StarCraft. As always, we're live on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day. The next broadcast on the CranKy Ducklings is going to be the Wardy TV Monday. Wardy TV Monday tomorrow in less than 24 hours. That is your weekly dose of open StarCraft, where you can see the Koreans and Europeans face off against each other. Because Astrea is already on this kind of time slot, he's already waking up at around this time, he might even play as well in tomorrow's tournament. It's possible. or he might just sleep in. It's like after an intense weekend, and it was very intense for Australia, it's possible he might just sleep. And I mean, it's well-deserved sleep there for Australia if he so chose to. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys the next time we do see you. Tomorrow is going to be the Wardy TV Monday. We have a back-to-back broadcast tomorrow. It's going to be Wardy TV Monday into Sea Duckling Open. If you're curious, Sea Duckling Open, I should have said this yesterday, but it was ideally meant to be on Friday, but we did postpone Sea Duckling Open. We were not available to cover and cast the event live, so instead we gathered all the replays, and we will be having a replay cast after Wardy TV Monday tomorrow. So that is going to be the plan. It's going to be main event, Wardy TV Monday into Sea Duckling Open. Then we have the Pigastore Monday on Tuesday. That's just how it works. We have the Monday on Tuesday. We have Code for Giants Cup on Wednesday, Sparkling Tuning Cup, the National Tussle, Pondcast, and the MC Show Match on Friday. Let's go. Let us go, Papi. Let's go. So again, a lot of StarCraft to come. Otherwise, thanks for watching. If you want to follow us, if you want to support us, you can do so via the social medias. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. You can follow us if you so choose to, as we do try to get that going. And again, we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft. See you then. See you then, Papi. See you then.
他最后这手感染虫太凶了，最近半年 ZVP 56-3给自己点一个赞，冠军。
I don't think Cyril has any chance to save this one, but he continues.
It gets killed coming back, and Bunny just doesn't seem to have the numbers.
Didn't even notice the Liberator in the main base, I think. So many probes are going down right now.
Oh my god, they're trying to get back, but they can't, and so many are picked up. A big clump here from Curie. Tries to split everything up.
Giant force of Phalanx rolling in and clearing the hell. That's massive. Clump!
Mario is once again.
Raider has done it.
Cyril did it all, and he is a well-deserving champion.